for guys that don't really, you know, they're, I don't know, I don't have a lot of experience in doing this kind of thing. If you look at the trees and the vines and everything that's kind of, you know, these trees are not healthy. Probably a bunch of reasons why. I think it's a lot of it has to do with the amount of moisture that stays on the ground because of the way the water flows in here coming down that hill, and it kind of sits in here, and that creates a lot of rot in the bottom of the trees. And then of course you got well, there's so many trees too, where they're just not getting enough sun. The ground never really dries in here. So, and then the vines are really bad, and and there's a lot of dead trees in here too, that I'm going to push over and everything with the skid steer. So that's kind of what, you know, what's on tap for today. I don't know, it's hard to get footage in here, man, because, well, you get tied up in what you're doing, and then you forget that the camera's on, and then you run over the damn thing. I done it before, so I know. One thing that I need to do is, of course you can't hardly do it when it's wet like this, is we need to make sure that the water flows. So it comes out of that pipe, comes across here, and then it slowly drops all the way down, and that's why all that rot is in there. You'll see the water comes down that driveway and gets into here, and it kind of just sits. And it's not good for the trees. And then the water that flows like it's supposed to down off that house right there, all through that back, all the water comes off the back of that house ends up coming through this pipe, right? And from the road up there and everywhere. So it comes down through here. It gets across here some kind of way. I mean, it looks like it wouldn't, but it does. And then in here, there was a big stump right there. There was a big stump right here. There was a big stump right there. There was a big stump. There's like 5 big stumps in here. And I had to get rid of those stumps in order for me to be able to, well, I wanted it to look better, and I wanted to be able to manage it. And the water was just getting hung all up in here. So, and the sun was never hitting the ground. So, in theory, you want to go through here and, you know, push over, you know, some of the smaller dead trees, or trees that look real crappy, and then that'll give the other ones plenty of room to live. But I don't know that I'm going to do all that. It'd be nice to be able to come in here and, I don't know, just make it where you could run a brush cutter in here really easy. And of course, you know, you get on down over in there where I've been working the last few days, and those trees laying long way on the ground right there, that's about 10 foot on this side of the property line. So we're going to make a line up through there, because if it's so much debris, you're not going to be able to hardly pile it all up and it not look terrible. Maybe some of this stuff can get up against the wood line there and rot or whatever. Now, all this stuff in here that you see, right, it all came out of here, out of this area, because when I dug stumps out, and of course the 4 stumps I dug out of here, I haven't been able to really grade this like I want to, and you can tell this water's sitting. Not a lot of water, but it ain't raining 3 or 4 days, so it's, you know, I wouldn't mind coming in here and getting out these 3 saplings and leaving the magnolia tree, right? One thing I wanted to show you guys, that, you know, that this ground, water, saturated, whatever, or just disease, a lot of these trees in here are diseased for various reasons. You know, I think mostly because the ground stays wet. So you got a tree right here. Look at this tree. Now that's a big tree. You know, it ain't, I mean, you know, it ain't that big diameter, but that tree right there, I mean, it could fall at any given moment. You know, I didn't want to, I really wasn't trying to get into pushing over, you know, big trees, because, well, no, mainly because you have to dig them out and stuff. But this tree right here, y'all, I'm gonna push him over, man. And it's just old junky sweet gum. But I think, I mean, y'all look at it, look how rotten it is. See, it could fall and hit that power line right there, you know, and that would knock the power out to the house. There's a lot of dead trees in here, man. I don't know, and I'll try to zoom in on it, man. Y'all see that big pine tree right there? See all the bark off of it is rotten too. There's quite a few of these trees in here that just are not in good health. This tree right here, it's obvious. I believe my bobcat can just push it over, man. And y'all see how big it is at the bottom. You know, the only thing holding it is just this one side right here, because let me stick the camera up in there and let's see. If this was summertime, I wouldn't be even thinking about doing this kind of thing. But y'all look, it's all rotten underneath here. Ain't that crazy, man? I believe the bobcat can push it right over. You know, I could lay it down. I guess I could go that way with it, as long as I get it on this side of that big tree right there. That's a big oak right there, it looks like. And push it this way, like that. I think that as long as I can get it on this side of that tree right there. A lot of times you have to use the woods, the trees, and everything as well to help you do whatever goal you're trying to do. I have to get a saw and cut it, man. So I'm just gonna get my 201 key and just put a little slit in it, and get the top gone. Then I'll dig the butt out. 201 All right, y'all, so we got a problem now. See that? I didn't anticipate it coming off the thing, but when you got rotten wood, that's what happens. So what I'm gonna do now, well, it's pretty dangerous, man. Don't try this at home. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put a rope around the bottom of it, and I'm gonna try to pull back on it and get it to fall. Now, it's extremely sketchy though, so, and it looks like it's trying to go on on the wrong side of that freaking tree right there because it fell off. It was like 5 foot it dropped, and when it dropped, that changed the trajectory at the top. You gotta always be thinking like this. I shouldn't have really, I thought it'd be easier to push over, I'll be honest. I never thought that I'd be spending 30 minutes, 45 minutes on doing this. But we're gonna try, I'm gonna try to, you know, put a rope to it now. There's a few things that I can do, and I got skills. I can stand there and I can cut some of it and let it drop down a little bit more, take some more of the length off of it. But no matter what I do, it's not going to hit anything because it didn't go this way. It would have to have gone this way for me to be worried about hitting anything. Now it's just about getting it safely on the ground. Again, y'all, don't try this at home, man. All right, this is dangerous, man, for real. I'm gonna put a rope around it and try to pull it back with the Bobcat, but sometimes that don't work because it done dug in the ground. It's just according to how heavy it is. The biggest thing with tree stuff, man, is you don't wig out when things like this happen, because if you do enough trees, y'all, just gonna be honest, if you do enough trees, you're gonna have stuff like this happen. Yeah, so now I'm just gonna grab it with a Bobcat. I got it cut in 2 pieces, or 3 pieces, 2 cuts, and then this end right here should break right off. Now I'm just gonna pile it up right there, dude. Now I will say that was extremely more sketchy than what I ever thought it could have been. I don't know that it could have been any more sketchy unless it fell on my truck or something, you know. But you run into that when you got a rotten tree. I mean, that tree's rotten. So it's good now, man. So I'm gonna keep moving on. It never fails, y'all. Every time I get over here into something I haven't been in before, this is what happens. It's all wrapped up around the centerpiece and everything, man. It's gonna make, this right here, that's a wrap on the day, dude. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to cut it. I'm gonna have to cut it out best I can and hope it's not heavy barbed wire, but it's barbed wire, and it's all wrapped up around inside there too. So these right here are really cool to have. They make it cutting wire real easy. So let's get the long stuff off here first. And yeah, and don't try this at home. Y'all see how the attachment is? Well, you want to make sure before you get under it and got it at an angle like this, you want to be sure that those things are in, the pins are in. It's virtually impossible for it to fall out. Now, if the hydraulics give, well, the whole thing's not going to come down on top of you. It'll come down, but it'll come down slow, and then I'll just sink down below this if it happens. Yeah. But again, at your own freaking risk, man. Y'all see me do stuff, don't mean you should do it. I'm not promoting anything. So just want to throw that out there. Man, it ain't all kicks and giggles, y'all. Somebody asked me if I ever sharpened these. I've never sharpened these. I don't know. I don't even know if you do. I know I have changed them out on a bush hog that I had on a tractor. You know, I could buy new ones. But I've never you know, changed these right here. And I don't know what would dictate, you know, would make me change them, you know. Because these are heavy duty. They're hard to sharpen too, and they're hard as I mean, they're really hard too. You gotta have I guess you could sharpen them on a regular grinding wheel. But see what you don't, there's a seal in here. It's a terrible design, really. And I have taken this thing off before, this right here, but dude, this thing right here, you gotta have a floor jack or something to be able to pick it up. The way I did it, if I flipped this thing upside down and took it off, and I used the Bobcat bucket and put a chain around it and picked it up, pulled it off, just undid the bolts and pulled it off. But I mean, dude. There. It's just about impossible to get it out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Boy might have got it. See all that grease on it, man? There's all kind of grease on it from where it's rubbed up against the seal. Yeah. Okay, that pretty much got that, man. I'm going home still though. I'm gonna hide the brush cutter. I'm gonna run it for a second and then hide it, and then I'm going home.